Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister made a very depressing speech to Canada's youth. He said they would have to make more sacrifices. More sacrifices. After 10 Liberal years that doubled the cost of housing and drove out the possibility that youth could own their own home. After the sacrifice of their jobs, with the worst employment numbers since the 1990s. After the sacrifice of a lifelong of shouldering high debt. Young people need hope, jobs, and homes. Why won't the Prime Minister reverse his disastrous decade of policies so that we can restore that hope?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Speaker, I had the honour of presenting red seals to 3 new apprentices of the IBEW in Local 230, Victoria, BC. Mr. Speaker, they're proud of what they accomplished. They're optimistic about the future because, Mr. Speaker, we are going to put them to work. Mr. Speaker, we're going to build homes. We're building major infrastructure projects in the national interest. Thousands of jobs, thousands of opportunities for apprenticeship. Mr. Speaker, while the Conservatives come to this House and talk Canada down every day, we're going to be supporting workers who are building Canada up.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
3 apprentices, Mr. Speaker. That does not account for the countless job losses, the highest jobless rate in 30 years outside of COVID caused by this government. Nor does it account for the doubling of housing costs that 80% of young people believe they will never be able to afford a home. But yet the Prime Minister tells our youth that they have to sacrifice even more. All he offers is more costs, more debt, and more despair when Canadians actually need is more homes, more jobs, and more hope. Why won't he introduce an affordable budget for an affordable life?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Every day, the Conservatives come to this House and talk down the Canadian economy. We are supporting our workers, Mr. Speaker. We are going to build, Mr. Speaker. Build bold. Build now with Canadian lumber, with Canadian steel, and Canadian unionized worker, Mr. Speaker. We are defending our workers, Mr. Speaker. We'll be there for Canada. I hope the Conservatives join us.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, apparently nobody over there watched the depressing, miserable, hopeless speech the Prime Minister gave to Canadian youth yesterday. He said that Canadian youth need to sacrifice more, Mr. Speaker, when in fact quite the opposite is true. Mr. Speaker, the youth of this country have sacrificed enough. They can't afford homes, they can't get jobs, and now they have a generational lifetime of debt to shoulder. What Canadian youth need is homes, jobs, and hope. Yesterday, I provided the Prime Minister with a plan to do it. Will he put that hopeful plan in his budget?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
The only person who's miserable when the Prime Minister speaks, Mr. Speaker, is the Leader of the Opposition. What the Prime Minister is talking about is spending less and investing more. Investing in what? In careers for young people, in building major national projects, in being a technology leader in the world. Today, with Premier Ford leading the world in small modular nuclear reactors. Mr. Speaker, the young people of this country are proud to be Canadians. They're proud to see a future from coast to coast to coast in this country. The young people of this country have a bright future.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It is too bad that that minister didn't write the Prime Minister's speech yesterday, because it wouldn't have bored and depressed to tears all of those poor students stuck in that room. There he spoke about how they would have to sacrifice more and that it would take time to reverse all of the misery that has built up over the last 10 years. Mr. Speaker, young people want to have homes. They want to have jobs. They want to have hope. They want a budget that is affordable so they can have a life that is affordable. Will the Prime Minister introduce that budget so that Canadians can restore the promise of their country?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Mr. Speaker, you can be sure we are going to introduce a budget. The question is whether the Leader of the Opposition is going to support that budget, because here's what that budget's going to do. It's going to give young people all over this country the ability to stand up and say, that's where my future lies, in Canada, in skilled trades, in technology, in the professions, in careers that are going to give me and my family hope, a home, a community, a job, a future, the best country in the world. Let's build Canada.
Saskatchewan.
The Prime Minister told young Canadians that there would be more sacrifices in their future. Young people are already facing a bleak future because of Liberal policies, exploding housing and food prices, historic highs in unemployment. Mr. Speaker, past generations sacrificed to make life better for their children. But now young people are being told to sacrifice their future because of elite Liberal policies. Mr. Speaker, will Liberals stop breaking their promises and restore hope for the future of this country?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, you know what youth of this country want? They want a leader that doesn't spin conspiracy theories, attack democratic institutions, and suggest other leaders be jailed. Mr. Speaker, on November 4th, we're going to table a generational budget. We're going to invest in Canada. We're going to build Canada. I suggest the leader opposite sacrifices ego. Put the rhetoric aside and help us build Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, that nonsense answer obviously had nothing to do with the question. And when we're talking about youth unemployment, I think it's time for the Liberals to sacrifice their tired talking points and actually get serious about addressing this problem. Now, last week we introduced the Conservative Youth Jobs Plan to unleash the economy, fix immigration, fix training, and build homes where the jobs are. So instead of preaching sacrifice, why don't the Liberals actually propose a youth jobs plan? Better yet, why don't they simply adopt ours?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, while the Conservatives are in damage control mode, we're in build mode. On November 4th, we're going to table a generational budget. We're going to invest in Canada. We're going to build at a scale not seen since the Second World War. We're going to invest in infrastructure, national projects. Mr. Speaker, we believe in Canada. We will build Canada's economy and the strongest economy in the G7. I ask the party opposite to come out of the shadows, support our budget. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Richmond Hill South.
Yesterday, this Liberal Prime Minister told a room full of students that they're going to have to make some sacrifices. Well, young people have already sacrificed enough over the last 10 years. They've sacrificed by paying skyrocketing food costs. They've sacrificed with an entire summer without jobs because Liberal job-killing policies have driven youth unemployment to recessionary levels. They've sacrificed the dream of home ownership because the Liberals created the worst housing crisis ever. And last month, rents were up another 4.8% nationally. Canadians shouldn't have to sacrifice for Liberal failures. When will the Liberals stop doubling down on the same failed policies, get spending under control so young Canadians can finally afford to buy a home?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Boy, Mr. Speaker, that speech really freaked out the Conservatives, didn't it? Because it was all about ambition. It was about investing in ourselves. It was about building major projects. It was about the project that Prime Minister Carney announced with Premier Ford, that the Prime Minister...
I don't think I even need to say it. I think everyone knows. The member may go ahead. Not from the top.
Mr. Speaker, that speech yesterday from the Prime Minister really freaked these Conservatives out because they saw the ambition in that speech. And not only did they see it in that speech, today, as the Prime Minister stood with the Premier investing in new nuclear to ensure the jobs of today and the future, they know that the youth...
The honourable member for Newmarket Aurora.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister told a room full of students that they're going to have to make sacrifices, but after 10 long years of failed Liberal policies they already have, they've sacrificed their dream of owning a home, sacrificed their dream of starting a family because they cannot afford it. They have watched food prices skyrocket, and housing starts in Toronto at a 30-year low. Canada has everything it needs to thrive, but its failing because of their policies. Will the Liberals stop breaking their promises and get their spending out of control so young Canadians can finally afford to dream?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the youth in my riding are dreaming, and not only that, they're working, and they're entering the workforce in extraordinary ways. Let me talk about the young welder that I met at Thunder Bay Hydraulics just a few weeks ago, who approached me the other day and said that because of the programs that the province and the federal government work together on to ensure she had work-integrated learning, she was now a welder with that company. Mr. Speaker, we're investing in jobs, we're investing in youth. Every time we look across the aisle, these guys are voting against the interests of youth. It's very rich for them to talk about youth.
The honourable member for Brandon-Souris.
Yesterday, the Prime Minister told a room full of students that they have to make sacrifices. Mr. Speaker, students and young people in this country have already sacrificed enough to these Liberals. They've sacrificed the dream of home ownership. They've paid the price at the pump and for the cost of food. They've spent summers without jobs. Now the Liberals get up and their big achievement is 3 new apprenticeship red seals? You gotta be kidding me. Canadians have sacrificed enough over the last 10 years. They shouldn't have to sacrifice more for these Liberal failures. Will the Liberals get their spending under control in the November 4th budget and restore the promise of hope for young Canadians?
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
Canadians vividly remember, young Canadians vividly remember when the Leader of the Opposition, the Conservative leader, stood up and voted against removing interest off Canada's student loans, saving young Canadians thousands of dollars every year, Mr. Speaker. This new government will always stand up for young Canadians. Yesterday, the Prime Minister announced that we will double non-U.S. exports by $300 billion. That means thousands of new opportunities for young Canadians producing the goods that the world wants to buy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.